On February 9th, 2020, I wore a red shirt and black pants to work. I've worn this outfit to work many times before, and many tasteful comments have been made about me wearing the infamous Tiger Woods colors. All previous comments that had been made about my outfit were not taken negatively at all. On this day, while manning my usual post at Hillcrest, a Hillcrest member walked up to me and asked, "Is what you have on the black guy dress code for a golf course?" While laughing, he followed up saying, "Every time I see a black guy on the course, they always have red and black on." I responded, "I didn't put any thought into that this morning when I put on my clothes, and I can't speak for all black people." It was a group of 8 members, um, and they always play golf together. So in the group of 8, you had Michael Flesh, Joey Bearstock, um, Brad Fuller, and a few others in this group of 8 that play together, two foursomes that play back to back. That group continued to heckle and say things, just demeaning of nature. But it's not uncommon when you're dealing with, again, those names that I mentioned. Mentally, I'm trying to avoid any confrontation, but that's what these guys pride themselves on. They pride themselves on doing that. So I eventually turned around and of course, I see who I'm dealing with, and the conversation doesn't really end there. You know, Joey Bearstock can see that when I'm saying like I can't speak for all black people, again, with my kind of calm nature, you can also tell, okay, you've gotten underneath my skin, and the fact that I'm giving you a comment back, because usually you say a lot of times you would say things or they would say things, and I shake my head, I go do something else, I turn my back. But now I'm addressing them and saying something back. They know that they have gotten underneath my skin, so they keep poking. And so, Joey Bearstock follows up by saying, "You won't be here long. We'll see to that." And go get and then he told me to go get his tequila drinks. They're all together. And so whoever was saying that, there's other comments coming right and left. Um, it was just initially while they're walking up, coming up behind me, that is the first comment that gets made, and then my response, and now I'm turning around, and now you have Joey Bearstock to deal with. So those uh, group of 8, they're it's conversation going back and forth amongst each other, and then towards me as well. A lot of laughter from the whole group.
Is this Joey Bearstock?
Yes, it is.
Is this the person who was part of that group?
Yes.
Is that Michael Flesh?
Michael Flush, yes, sir.
Okay. And that's the person that you saw
Yes,
laughing?
in the group.
So he was aware of the comment.
Yes.
Okay. And you mentioned Brad Fuller was there?
Yes. Yes, that's Brad Fuller. Jason Kaplan was also a part of that group of 8. There's the version of Jason Kaplan when he's with his group of 8, and then there's the version of Jason Kaplan when he has it might be a Saturday usually, where he had, at the time they were younger, uh his children with him, where you see a different side of him. He still will get on you if you don't have all, the kids' golf bags in time, but it's a different side. But the Jason Kaplan that exists with his buddies is surprisingly different. But he's definitely one that's not afraid to verbally just take advantage of the fact that he's a member and he can say whatever he wants.
In this lawsuit, Jason Kaplan was accused of making a derogatory comment to the plaintiff.
It's a two-sided thing with Jason Kaplan where it's surprising when you physically see him, your initial analysis of him wouldn't be that some of the things that come out of his mouth would, just because it looks like he's very meek, mild-mannered, but you get sometimes it doesn't even take drinks, but that group that he hangs out with, you get some drinks in those guys and Mr. Kaplan, then um, it's surprising to see because he's not a physically dominating individual. It's just he is empowered by his position, I guess. It doesn't surprise me, unfortunately, that the defendant had bad altercations, and that's horrible to to know that it's the same person.
How would you describe that group?
They would be uh, considered the members that don't work. I'm not saying that they don't have a job or something like that. The members that are able to come out here at 7, 8 in the morning, spend their morning, afternoon out here, work, when they so choose, as they're out there at 7 o'clock on the dot. You better have everything ready. They take up the first two tea times. It's a group of 8 that you have to be prepared for. If you don't have their bag down there, they're upset, throwing golf clubs, calling you names, calling John McMullen and saying, we got to do something about this. We got to get rid of this guy in your face, just dealing with temper tantrums and disrespect to start your morning. When you're dealing with that group of 8 and they're treating you like that, your hands are really tied. So I knew that much. Hey, these aren't my bags. You're doing a horrible job. This isn't going to work. We don't want you here. Things were working fine before. Um, you know, mm, uh, Joey Bearstock is making those comments. Um, Michael Flesh definitely. Brad Fuller. They're just heckling me on day one in front of everybody. And this is in front of John McMullen, in front of Danny, in front of Dan Costello, um, the president of the golf club. I forget his name, but he was there as well. So on day one, I knew that this was going to be a problem. And then you mentioned these names to some member or employees that have been at Hillcrest for quite some time. And their immediate response is, "Oh yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah, you're going to deal with that. They are testing you. They are, you, doing that to you, and hopefully one day it'll stop." I had not gained their respect, nor did they like the rules and regulations that Caddy Master came with and the way I wanted to run the program.
Do you feel they were picking on you because you are black?
I did. I felt the color of my skin had to stand out because I was the only black person that I saw of any leadership around Hillcrest. It was the only female caddy that I hired. She was a wonderful young lady, and she was paired up with the group of 8 that I keep mentioning during a tournament. And this tournament lasted all day. In that group of 8 for this tournament, she was groped by someone. Who? I don't exactly know because when she was telling me that she was groped, she asked to come into my office and told me this story. And I mean, I didn't know what to do with that information. I knew I needed to wanted to report it for her, but she adamantly told me, please don't. When when you're dealing with something like that to where, she's just saying, don't pair me with them. And she was like, and in particular, she mentioned how um they tipped her in cash, which is something that wasn't really allowed at the time, but they gave her $100 cash, but she's still saying, please don't pair me with this group. And I don't know if that cash is hush money or what, but I did um grant her wishes and not reporting it. She had told Nicholas as well that she was groped at that tournament, and she again told him not to say anything. And again, that still touches my heart because her, her privacy, how it affected her, all of that, I don't know. I believe that is for it's their, a woman's choice. It's anyone's choice to speak up.
Just to be clear, you're telling me that the group with Michael Flesh, Joey Bairstock, Brad Fuller, Jason Kaplan, but it was reported to you that someone from that group groped a female caddy at Hillcrest,
Yes, that is
and it
correct.
was reported to you that she was groped,
Yes, that is correct.
and you do know that female caddy's name?
Yes, I
I'm not going to
remember.
ask you for it just to protect her privacy for now, but you are aware of who that is?
Yes.
Okay, well, if Hillcrest wants to investigate that, I guess they can go ahead and do that. Did you ever see Jason Kaplan drinking while playing golf at Hillcrest?
Yes. Yes, I can say that. I know what it is when someone is inebriated, um, you know, eh, to the point to where you're no longer playing golf. You're out there for the drinks and to um, you know, just I guess try and have a good time. And I could say, yes, I've seen the inebriated um version of Mr. Kaplan for sure.
Was that part of your duties to go get alcohol for the members?
No, definitely not.
Would Jason Kaplan ask you to go, you or would he ask you specifically to go get alcohol for him?
Yes, he has, as well as Joey Bearstock that I could definitely recall.
And you're familiar with them asking other people to go get alcohol as well?
Yes, caddies, members of the pro shop, definitely.
Did you ever witness Jason Kaplan doing drugs at Hillcrest?
I didn't witness him personally doing it. I will say when you're dealing with that group of eight, that means you're dealing with four golf carts because only two people can ride. Um, so always you're usually a group of eight like that. You're aware when those carts come in, that kind of, four golf carts can kind of build up traffic when you're trying to clean them out and things of that nature. And then also that group of eight, you try and keep the same caddies that whoever's having if they are able to deal with that group, then you try and keep them together. And so my best at managing that, while I've never seen Mr. Kaplan indulge in drugs, I will say those golf carts that the group of eight um, would regularly use, or they always need 4 golf carts. Sometimes you would find white substance in the playing card, the card, or in the cubby hole, or you'll find a razor blade um, in that group. So I can't say I've ever seen him do it, but someone in the group was. You know, either it's they're telling me a story in the past, or it could be a caddy that is telling me such and such happened to me while I was out there on the golf course. They disrespected me, um, and just don't pair me up with that member anymore. So for a lot of people, it's a good job to have. And so you're tying their hands where I have to deal with this. I'm going to tell my manager, but I don't want it to go past telling you. I have to tell you why I don't want to be paired with this member, so that you don't do it, but don't report it because I need to make this money. I don't want to jeopardize my ability to never be at Hillcrest again. And that's a very difficult position to be in. I received a phone call from Dan Costello, who let me know that Caddy Master were and I were going to part ways, as he said it. He stated, reluctantly, he wished that, things could have been worked out, and sorry that you had a bad experience, but that just is the way things are gonna be. And um, it was very short conversation, just a shock, and he let me know that uh, the Troon legal department would be reaching out to me.
So you made a complaint on July 12th and you lost your job on July 18th, and they gave you a settlement agreement on July 30th.
Correct. The first conversation after I sent the email on the 12th, like I said, within a couple days, they're trying to settle, and um, they are offering $3,000. And then I say that's not enough for me to be able to move back. I have no other way to move back home. And then they find a way to make it $6,000 by saying 9,000 and knowing taxes. And so that's how it was handled. But it was very quickly. My wife and I were concerned about trying to make it back to home base, which would be Augusta for us during the pandemic. And I was just, didn't know how to handle this. And I'm just begging, I need enough for a plane ticket to move back home.
Are you aware of Hillcrest starting an internal investigation?
No, I'm not.
Were you ever interviewed regarding your complaint?
I was never interviewed.
Any sense that Hillcrest was concerned about a discriminatory culture at the club?
No, no concern about that. And on that call with um, Dan Costello, it was made very clear that after, signing this, I better not say anything to anyone, no social media post, because that would make it bad for Hillcrest, and you wouldn't like that. And so it was a scare tactic, meaning, don't contact any caddies that are concerned about me. Made that clear. Don't even respond. Don't even respond to avoid having to answer certain questions that will get you in trouble. And he made it clear that, anything Hillcrest, your experience at Hillcrest or Caddy Master, just don't say anything at all. So he advised not to answer any phone calls, which is what I did.